Shibuya Incident Arc is not only the best arc so far in Jujutsu Kaisen, but it's probably up there as one of the best arcs of all time. The story just takes a massive dark turn, and you can make a very strong argument that the villains end up winning by the end of the arc. Yuji is not the same after this arc, and I made an earlier video describing how this arc more or less killed Yuji mentally. A lot happens in this arc, so here I'm going to be talking about the 5 moments from the Shibuya Incident Arc that broke the internet. Starting with Yuji vs Chozo, which took place between chapters 101 and 105. Now, I've already made a video explaining why this fight, in my opinion, is the best fight in the series, and with the anime hopefully going to adapt the Shibuya Incident Arc, we can finally see this fight fully animated. To summarize, everything about this fight was epic. He had everything. Epic curse techniques displayed by Chozo with his piercing blood, excellent hand-to-hand choreography where we saw these guys doing drop kicks and suplexes when they had their fight in the public bathroom, and finally, the end result of Yuji actually losing this fight. His first big 1v1 fight, and he loses. Akutami subverted our expectations with the result of this fight, and let's be honest, it's the perfect ending because it gave Yuji the reality check he needed. He needed to have this big loss now in order to learn from his mistakes so he can then go after Mahito later on in the arc. Like I said earlier, I made a video fully describing my love for this fight, so please go and check it out if you want more in-depth analysis. Number 4, the return of Koji Fushiguro in chapter 110. This had the fans all over Twitter having a mental breakdown, especially since around 20 to 30 chapters ago, we have witnessed the damage that Toji can do. It could have been any character coming through that portal being summoned into Dagon's domain expansion, but none of us expected it to be Toji. From chapter 106, Megumi, Nanami, Naobito and Maki all ganged up on Dagon, and none of them could do anything against him. Until Toji took over the fight and easily killing Dagon's Shikigamis without any problem. And then he proceeds to dominate Dagon with pure might, smashing through his water shield as if it was just a stroll through the park. And the thing is, Dagon knows he doesn't have any cursed energy because he can't sense him using it. And we know that Toji doesn't have any cursed energy because of heavenly restriction as revealed to us by Yuki in chapter 77. So the guy is solely using his strength against Dagon, and he obliterated him. Dagon got bullied in his own domain by Toji. It's like every time we see Toji fight, he surpasses his previous feat. In the Gojo Past arc, he beats Gojo and Geto back to back and then kills the Star Plasma Vessel, which was the mission he set out to do. He managed to do something that even Kenjaku himself failed at doing twice, and that is defeating the Six Eyes and stopping the merger between the Star Plasma Vessel and Master Tengen. Well, Koji defeated Gojo and ended up killing Riko, which as a result stopped the merger. By the time Gojo recovered and wanted payback against Toji, it was too late. Riko is already dead. This insane feat by Toji is then followed up with him easily overpowering a special grade curse in Dagon in his own domain expansion. Toji just has moment after moment after moment in this series. Every time the guy appears, the whole fandom freezes. Just like how the Jujutsu sorcerers who were fighting against Dagon were just in complete awe of Toji. We as the fans also have the same reaction as them, as we just eagerly wait and see what Toji will do next. He has that Carnage, Joker, Agent of Chaos type vibe about him, which makes him so exciting to watch, and why every time he appears, the internet just breaks because of his greatness. Number 3, Sukunas Rampage. Sukuna is just irredeemable. He really is. Guy just goes ballistic as soon as Jogo feeds Yuji a further 10 fingers. In chapter 112, we see him ripping people's heads off for the fun of it and killing Geto's 2 assistants just for the laugh. Causes a mass slaughter in Shibuya, kills Jogo, but before killing him, he is completely taking the piss and dominating him exactly the same way as Gojo was dominating in episode 7 of the first season of the anime, evading Jogo's best attacks like Maximum Meteor, with him then revealing that he also is a fire user with the fire arrow technique, and finally him beating the unbeatable Mahoraga in chapter 119. Granted, he did struggle a bit, but with the dismantle technique to ensure Mahoraga doesn't adapt to the attack, and finally finishing him off with the fire arrow, he managed to defeat Mahoraga, who was stated to have never been defeated ever. And then in the following chapter, he punishes Yuji by revealing the mass murder he has done across Shibuya, which completely breaks Yuji. Gojo had his moments earlier on in the arc before he got sealed away, and now when he gets sealed away, we see Sukuna fully unleashed without any restrictions. But look at the damage this guy has done, and it seems like he does it for a laugh. That's the scary similarity between Sukuna and Gojo in that they both like to play with their opponents. It was exemplified when both of these characters had their individual clash against Jogo. You see both of them just laughing at Jogo throughout the fight. We also see him protecting Megumi, which down the line we see why he had to protect him, but we will save that topic for another time. But Sukuna, just like Toji, is another character that excites us fans every time he's on screen. Akutami somehow makes his villain so likable and charismatic. Like, you almost want to root for the guys like Sukuna and Toji because how badass and cool they are. You see different sides to Sukuna in this brief cameo we saw of him. You see an evil, demonic monster killing people for fun. We see his awesome power in action against powerhouses like Jogo and Mahoraga. We see his genius fighting intellect when he figures out that Mahoraga quickly adapts to all attacks he is receiving, as well as him saving Megumi in order for him to flesh out his plan for a future arc. And we see that he can also be a nice guy in chapter 116, saying to Jogo that he should be proud and that he is strong, knowing that he will kill him straight after saying that. So he wants Jogo to die hearing those kind words, which shows that he has empathy to those who he respects. But yeah, Sukuna was different class in these few chapters, which added to the darkness of this arc, and is one of the reasons why this arc is one of the best you will watch when the anime gets to fully adapting it. Number 2, Nanami's death in chapter 120. The guy that all of us adult fans relate to is now dead, and not only that, he died right in front of Yuji. Mahito, that complete scumbag, was the one that did the killing blow to Nanami. The same villain that Nanami refused Yuji's help against is now the one that killed him, and with his final words to Yuji, "You've got it from here," effectively handing over the torch to Yuji, whereas before, he would never have done that. I think the main reason why this was such an internet-breaking moment was the fact that Nanami is a fan-favorite character. The guy got burned alive by Jogo, but was still pushing through, fighting off against the transfigured humans. And because he was still moving, us fans were just living in hope that he survives until the end of the arc so he can fully recover, but that wasn't the case, and he did end up dying. I think you guys can guess what number 1 is going to be, but because of my number 1 spot, and with the loss our main character already has faced because of my number 1 pick, having a further loss in Nanami just signals the doom for Yuji and his friends. Nanami's death showed how hopeless the situation has become now, and it's not like he's one of those students who still hasn't reached his potential. We have some big-time Jujutsu sorcerers having major losses in this arc, and I have to give credit to Akutami because this arc really has that Game of Thrones feel to it, that no character, no matter how popular, will never be safe in this arc. Even Sukuna struggled against Mahoraga, so there are no easy fights in this arc, and as a result, it was the end for our guy Nanami. And of course, the number 1 internet-breaking moment from this arc is of course Gojo being sealed away in chapter 91. People still to this day are making videos discussing Gojo being sealed away, even now. That's how big of a moment this was. Gojo, the strongest sorcerer in the world, him being born tipped the balance back in the favor of the Jujutsu sorcerers against the cursed spirits. But Gojo himself lost in this arc, and that's what I mean. No one is safe no matter how strong of a character you are. Gojo has the Goku role in Jujutsu Kaisen, where Goku would show up right at the end of the arc where things get tough and would defeat the bad guy in the end, or would play a massive role in the eventual defeat of the bad guy. In the Saiyan saga of Dragon Ball Z, Goku came last minute and defeated Nappa and Vegeta. In the Frieza saga, he came and turned into a Super Saiyan for the first time and defeated Frieza. In the Cell saga, his son became the hero as he passed on the torch to Gohan. And in the Buu saga, it was his spirit bomb that killed Kid Buu. I'm only going through Dragon Ball Z, I don't need to go over every arc in Dragon Ball history, but you get the gist of what I'm saying in that Goku comes at the last second to make the save. Gojo has been doing the same thing. In the Goodwill event arc, him just turning up had all of Kenjaku's minions crawling back. He almost killed Hanami with his Hollow Purple attack just as Hanami was about to unleash its domain expansion against Todo and Yuji. But unlike Dragon Ball Z, Gojo loses. And not only does he lose, he gets sealed away, and the author actually sticks to his guns and keeps him sealed away. Gojo, your strongest character and arguably your most popular character, is now sealed away in the prison realm. I think when you actually think about it, it gets more and more shocking that this actually happened. The Superman of this series actually got defeated and is kept in a box. These 5 reasons alone make the Shibuya Incident Arc such a masterpiece, but that's only scratching the surface. There are still so many little moments that occur in this arc that makes this arc so special, but I want to hand this over to you guys now. What are your favorite moments from this Shibuya Incident Arc? Comment down below and let me know. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Shaman Tribe.